author and columnist for Newsday, Dan Raviv. Hey, Dan, good to see you.
Hi.
I actually had a bit of a lead-in for you. Unfortunately, that seems to have been lost. But we're going to
Let's wing
switch
it.
topics, yeah. We've really only been talking about the count as per who's going to win the presidency. But we really can't understate just how important the Senate race is, even if it has been overshadowed. Even though, I'll just put it simply, how likely is it that the Republicans are going to keep control of the Senate?
It seems very likely at this point. Before this election, as of last week, the Democrats had 47 seats in the Senate, if I include two senators like Bernie Sanders who call themselves independents. So the Republicans had 53. So out of 100, right? The Democrats had 47. Therefore, they needed to gain 3 to get 50 to just be 50-50. Because if Biden becomes president, then Kamala Harris would be vice president. If there's a tie in the Senate on anything, the vice president gets to cast the tie-breaking vote. So the Democrats figured they need Biden to win and a net gain of 3 Senate seats. It looks like they're probably going to score 2. The Democrats are going to be very frustrated. They believe they're going to win a Senate seat in Arizona, and it looks absolutely certain they're going to gain one in Colorado. But that's it. So the Republicans are going, whew, that's a relief. And that's in part why Wall Street seems to be happy. The expectation now that Joe Biden will be president, that's a Democrat, but the Senate will remain in Republican hands. As you heard, that really will limit what Joe Biden and his Vice President Harris could do.
It really does, because, the problem with winning the presidency and losing the Senate is that Biden would basically be left, handicapped, unable to push through any meaningful reform that he'd hoped to without bipartisan support that we haven't seen the likes of in years.
Well, sure, but Joe Biden claims to be really good at that. He spent nearly 30 years in the U.S. Senate, and as the vice president, in the 8 years of Barack Obama's presidency, Joe Biden's job was to go and talk to Congress. Joe Biden knows Congress, and he knows how to talk in a friendly, understanding way with Republicans. This is something that Donald Trump never mastered. Trump claimed that he would be a great deal maker, as he was in real estate, but he was not able to get Democrats to support anything that Trump, wanted to do. Joe Biden says he'll be different, and if the Senate remains in Republican hands, Joe Biden will have to be different to get anything done.
Okay. Let me reach a little further field, Dan. Can Trump, the Senate, and Trump supporters simply set out to really just undermine a Biden administration over the next, 4 years, kind of rendering him as ineffective as possible, and then come 2024, Trump could even run again?
Oh, sure. I can think of a lot of reasons that the Republicans would want to have a holding action for the next 4 years. We don't know who the candidates would be. Maybe Trump would make another try at it, if that's what's going to feed his ego and his ambitions, and maybe his vision for making America great again, if Trump does indeed lose this week, as we expect. On the other hand, other Republicans are going to step forward and say, hey, it ought to be me, somebody new. You probably know there's a lot of talk about former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, a Republican, former governor. She would be an attractive candidate for the Republicans, where she believes in conservative Republican values, but she's not an insult artist, as Trump has proved to be. And on the Democrat side, who would it be? Because Joe Biden is going to be 78 when he becomes president in January, assuming Biden is winning. And so Biden would be 81 during the next campaign. Democrats will look for a new candidate, maybe Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris against Nikki Haley, both children of immigrants, considered people of color, both of them, of course, female. We'd have a very different tone in U.S. politics 4 years from now. But you know what? We have to get through this week, Andrea, and that's proving hard enough.
I just bought a little more time with you, Dan, so let me ask you this quickly. We're going to backtrack a little bit. Give me some of the, major kind of agenda issues, the big agenda issues that Joe Biden would, if he clinches this, would have hoped to get support from the Congress for that he's really going to have to fight on? What are the things he was looking to get through? Go ahead.
Right. I mean, very briefly, he said that he would do away with most of the so-called Trump tax cuts that were passed late in 2017. He would increase taxes on American corporations. The Republicans in the Senate may not let him do that. Also, a version of the Green New Deal, thinking about the environment, rejoining the Paris climate change accords. Perhaps the Senate will block Biden doing that. On the other hand, we should mention coronavirus. 230,000 Americans have died. It's getting a little worse right now. Biden does count on Congress to help with that. And he certainly hopes to get a stimulus deal in which money would be sent to American workers who are out of work and to American restaurants and small businesses who need the help. Trump has failed to do that in the past 2 months, though Trump, of course, blames the Democrats in Congress for that failure.
Dan Raviv, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for being with us there from Washington. We appreciate it.